Hello, everybody. That's Jai. Hello,
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 hello, hello.
The old men are back. We're so back.
We are. And thank you again for having me on as ever,
Of
Janken. And
course.
thank you for the Pommekins for tolerating me.
No, what do you mean? I love it. Like, we've been doing that. How long have we been doing that? Okay, it's been 2 months. I was kind of taking a break in March of like my recurrent collabs, and outside of that, it's been like at least 6 months now. It's more than that, almost, right?
Something like I don't remember the exact date. I mean, we can probably check the DMs,
but
we
it's
can probably
been
check
a while
the DMs
now.
Yeah, no, we've been doing this for a while. We've been doing this for a
We're
while.
gonna be like celebrate at some point like our 1 year of old men.
That's true. That's true. The anniversary.
Yeah. How have you been? How's life? How's everything?
I mean, I can complain. I've certainly got complaining.
Already? We just started.
Well, I mean, it's like the boring, stupid stuff, right? It's the boring, stupid stuff. But it's one of those things where, like, no matter what else is happening in your life, if like the basic physical stuff isn't like going well, you can complain. Like, even, and for me, I forget how much I've talked about it on this channel. We got a sound balance issue. I've got horrible insomnia. I have horrible insomnia. I've had horrible insomnia my whole life.
Before.
And whenever there's like a big weather change, it takes me a little bit while to get used to it again. And I live in America, and one of those things that Americans often don't realize about America compared to a lot of places in the world is that our weather is completely schizophrenic.
Really?
We have gone from... Apparently it's not true in California, but I've never been in California. In the areas of the country that I've lived in, I'm currently a New Yorker. But we have gone from winter to summer, I think, 5 times in the last 2 months.
I think this is it's a little bit worldwide right now. Like, even here in Japan, like, we had like, I think there was like a couple of days where literally it was snowing one day, and the other day like I was wearing shorts. Like that level.
Snow in Japan's pretty rare.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's been like pretty crazy, like pretty much worldwide. So yeah, definitely weather impact us a lot, right? A lot more than we think. And for sure when it's chaos like that, yeah, it definitely probably is not helping. Can you believe we're already on the weather topic? Old man peak. Old man peak topic.
Well, not even that. I mean, it was health complaints. It was health complaints too. Like the most canonical one. But yeah, it's such a thing for me. Like, it's such a
How's your moral then? How's the moral in general?
Oh, the moral's pretty good, actually.
All right.
Mental, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, you know, the simple fact that like you're getting bad sleep, it makes you kind of cranky. But other than that, I'm surprisingly good, all things considered.
Okay.
Right.
All right. There's been a lot of it's been tumultuous. in a lot of spheres, it has been. In a lot of spheres in the world and in our community all over. But I would say we keep strong.
We
keep strong despite everything. Oh, I just want to say to all the viewers, today we decided that we're going to be a little bit more free in the format, like no prepared topics. I actually ask of that, which is weird because I'm the kind of guy who likes to have everything like prepared in advance. And to help us like having like some of topics, like I've enabled the Q&A in YouTube, so you can drop your question there, and we're gonna check once in a while to get some question. So feel free to ask us anything, of course, if it is not appropriate because you're being a little shit.
We have the power.
Exactly.
We have the power to just not answer questions.
Exactly.
It's incredible. It's incredibly intoxicating to just be able to go, no, thank you.
Exactly. I'm not even gonna acknowledge them. But yeah, feel free, everybody. And we did talk a little bit about like like I just said, like in our community, a little bit crazy right now. If you're aware, you're aware. If you're not aware,
I was
fine.
I mean, we can talk about that because like we didn't really want to talk too much about it because my own reaction was like by about 12 hours ago, all the really important stuff had been said. But the real quick summary of some VTuber drama events is that Cinder is a big VTuber.
Yes, and he's like, I'm just gonna say it straight. Yes.
Yeah, Cinder, we gotta get the basic facts out here, just to make sure that Chad is like caught up on it. I don't too many illusions makes it really confusing to tell what the hell anybody's talking about. Cinder is a big VTuber, and she has been credibly accused of manipulating her artist, basically weaponizing her own artist to. There's 5 to 6. Holy crap!
Oh yeah. Oh, there's much more.
Oh jeez.
No,
my goodness. Okay, then maybe I shouldn't be doing the summary. I was trying to do the summary because I'm good at I'm good at making summaries. I am good at making summaries, but like.
But there's many things out of like whatever happened with the backgating. What I'm saying, the gatekeeping, and also like shit talking of others and everything. That I felt like as old man. You need the summary, Slen? Oh my god. All right, maybe maybe you go ahead and you say the summary.
Okay. Apparently there's been more things that have happened and I missed them. What I saw was that Cinder's a big VTuber. Bao is, by my standards, a big VTuber, but much smaller than Cinder. They share an artist, Nanoless, and Cinder was actively pressuring and even manipulating Nanoless. This is the accusations. I don't know if they're true or not. I didn't see. Cinder didn't release a denial.
Very important, everyone. We're just stating things that happened, right?
Yeah.
And probably,
or I should say,
talk about related things. Right. We're not.
This is according to the documents that Bao and Nano put out. That Cinder was pressuring Nano to not work with Bao, because she found Bao annoying and she wanted to have exclusive. Yeah, she wants to be the only person on Nano's list. This is made substantially more harsh for a lot of people by the fact that, from what anybody could tell in public, Cinder and Bao were friends. From what Bao could tell, Cinder and Bao were friends. So this was seen as a really huge betrayal.
Yeah, and you said exactly, like, betrayal of friend, and that's what like we were kind of discussing before, like without like going into. I think that we're too old and wise to do this. But what I thought would be interesting would be friendship, the idea of friendship within a community, within professional friendship as you grow older. I think it's super interesting, especially I think in the day and age where everything is a lot on the internet, and like going to go see your friend to play like some Super Nintendo like all day at their place. It's not like something that a lot of they would play online. Like, it's a lot of online. I think seeing something like that, when you start being like, were they friend? What does it mean to be friend? Like, Al, are we friend? And then like people are like, Of course, they're friends. They've been like collaborating like all this time. They've been like talking each other. But it's not like I'm telling Al like let's have like dinner and we.
Yeah,
it's you know?
I don't want. I was not I was not Janken's best man at his wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Like, friendship is like, it's so complicated to me.
It's
growing older, I think it is.
It's very complicated. I think we're not used to discussing it in very concrete terms. There are a bunch of places where it's where there's significant linguistic disagreements about the terminology that we already use. So one of the ones that's really famous, if you're a guy like me who's very social and knows a lot of people around the world, Americans use friend much more loosely than Europeans.
The term, right?
Yeah, the word friend.
Yeah.
And it's so. And Europeans often find this frustrating when dealing with Americans, because to an American, a friend is really just kind of somebody you're friendly with.
Yeah, exactly. That is where I wanted to go to. The word friendly is very important in the concept of like what is a friend. Yeah. But go on.
Yeah, so,
I do agree.
Yeah, so like to use a kind of like simple example of like why Americans think this way and like how our language kind of works. You know, if you're introducing people at a party, and you've got, if you're just like at a party and you're talking to somebody, and then a third person comes up and you are put in the position to introduce them, you say, "Oh, hi, this is so and so. This is my friend so and so." If you say, "This is my acquaintance so and so," that means like the two of you have like a long-standing history of beef. Like it's like anything. Your options are like, "Oh, we just met, but this is so and so," or "I was just talking to so and so," or "This is my friend so and so." Anything less than that, anything cooler than that, is like is you have like a problem with them. Like you guys have like a long-standing negative history. And part of this is just like linguistic differences, right? This is there was actually somewhat related to this, to my exact point here, is there was somebody released a guide. I just saw a guide on Blue Sky of for Americans who are getting feedback from professors from the UK versus UK students getting feedback from Americans. And one of the ones that really struck me was, so you're a UK grad student and you're talking to an American, and your American professor says, "That was inappropriate." And the British person hears, "I have made a slight gaffe." Janken, you're Canadian. I don't know how similar languages,
but I'm French.
On this front. You are French Canadian.
I'm French.
But I don't know. I don't know if this is a thing that crossed over to where you are.
So
that was inappropriate. Is a like.
For us in Quebec, there's this expression you probably know. I think it's a French known expression. We are a people of bon vivant.
Oh, yes,
right?
Yes.
So, we're very friendly, and we would easily call people friend because of our culture, I would say. But I think in that situation, I'm not sure.
Oh, the phrase "that was inappropriate." If an American professor tells you that, the translation that they gave in this is, I think, completely accurate. "Your actions disgust me. You should be expelled."
Wow.
Like, so, when you're calling somebody's actions inappropriate, that's like for Americans, particularly American academics, that is like a declaration of war. That's actually like one of the harshest things you can say. That's like substantially harsher than like,
you don't want to be inappropriate.
Oh yeah, no. Usually the implication is not you have made a gaffe. It's like you sexually assaulted somebody.
Oh,
really? Like it's like really harsh.
Really inappropriate.
Well, yeah, it's like or like you were turbo racist. Like it was like It's a very strong phrase for Americans. And actually, I should probably just roll back to the part about friendship. That was just kind of like a kind of like little divergence here. The Germans, and the Russians like go crazy about this. That like, they're like, no, don't fucking call me your friend if you're not willing to like ride or die for me. But I don't even think Americans are extreme. I don't even think the USians are like. I don't even think it's like just like the. I think it's a spectrum. I think the French Canadians would be even more so than the usual USians.
Canadians and to me, I think of like pretty easy to make friend and accept like people easily.
Well, it's like a kind of joke that the to Americans it feels like the Caribbean and Indian English speakers use it even like more freely than we do. I go to almost any store around me, and if it's an Arabic or Indian owned store, it's always my friend,
yeah, the good old my friend. Yeah,
and it's like and Matthew, USians. It's a particularly grotesque phrase for people from the United States of America. I think it's awful. But
I little divergence here before we go back to friends. But I had actually a teacher in Montreal who refused to say American because like they're not American. American is a continent. They are. He would say in French, États-Unis. Like no joke, like he would like always say it like that. He would like refuse to say American because he's like America is a continent, it's not a country.
the Bergerlander.
Yeah. But what I want to say about friends here is you're kind of like saying that culturally, right? It differs like everywhere. But I think not only culture, and I think Janken said something about that, and we did also talk about that, is how important it is to understand it in a professional kind of way, right? Because that's literally what's the stake here. Like, yes, their culture may have like shaped like how they use like the word friend, like, oh, I thought they were a friend, but here it's technically maybe they met, at TwitchCon or like they met like somewhere like, related to VTuber. But especially in the VTuber community, I am very friendly, right? And I want to be friendly in the professional sense. And I'm really usually very easily open to, but I have to think sometime about like, the consequences of like how I take another VTuber kind of work relationship. I don't know if I can say it like that, but it is very important to like remember us as VTuber, as creators, and also as viewers, right? To understand that it's often like not as simple as just like, oh yeah, like these two people like they collab, like they're friend now. It's sometimes it's just like it's just like a creation. You make something with someone and like you move on, and then that can happen. That doesn't mean we're enemies. It just means like it just like
different levels.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and Miss Janken brings up a very important part for like how we talk about this and think about this as VTubers. She had a coworker that wouldn't add her on social media until the coworker was quitting, and because this coworker tree, there's a strict line between personal and professional. That is a thing that like in a 9-to-5 job is pretty coherent, but when you're in any sort of like entrepreneurial field, is just not gonna fly. It's just not gonna work. It's not unique to VTubers. Like this is true of dentists, this is true of welders, this is true of calligraphers. Like this is just a thing that happens when you are like when you're going to lots of professional conferences, when you have to have professional relationships with people who don't have the same employer as you. but like it's just part and parcel of the job, and knowing how to manage that is, I think, really important. And I'm starting to wonder, like, I don't think VTubing is unique for producing this kind of drama. I don't think that this is a unique to us phenomena. I think it is is no small part kind of a result of the dynamics of power and human relations, but also based on other fields I've worked with and known people from. The VTuber community feels more prominent to me.
I think maybe because, for example, like Ms. Janken was just like, I don't want to be on Twitter. I was like, that's fine, I get it. But my Twitter is, unless like I click on anything that is unrelated to the things I follow or people that follow me, it is hardly and very solidly only about VTubing. There's not a lot that like gets in my circle, and I think that VTubing in general in the world is still like kind of niche, because it's not like in Japan is getting more and more mainstream for sure, 100%. But in general in the world, and because, you know, the closer you are within a community, the more that like these things will appear like kind of bigger, more prominent, like you said. I don't know, maybe that's why, or maybe it could feel more prominent. Because that's a lot of people online, at least within the community, that's like, man, the VTuber community, I'm so sick, I'm so tired, like I can't like hear these things. And
I can see that.
And I think also because it's kind of new-ish in a way that like it really boomed like 4 to 5 years ago, and then it's kind of trying to grow, but you always have to fight like these kind of like stories. So maybe people are more affected by them. So
that might be it. There's that parasocial angle. That's it. That wasn't where I was thinking, but that's definitely an interesting one. I definitely was thinking that a non-trivial part of it to my mindset was that there's, because of the fact that like being public and being parasocial and all this stuff is such an important part of what the business is. It's so baked into the business model.
Sadly, but yes.
That like you look more professional for raising a stink rather than less. That's something that makes you, that's a part of the community norms, because that is content, because that is stuff that you do, that's how you like let your viewers know that they're like, that's part of creating that illusion that they're on the inside, is that they hear these very highly charged emotional moments from you. Whereas if you were, say, a dentist, people would try to handle it quietly, because it makes you look bad as a dentist, whereas it makes you look good as a VTuber.
It makes sense, and this is also why, probably like you said, like it's overall like emotionally charged a lot more within a community. It makes sense. But I think overall, especially for us, I think, especially you and me, I think, like it's very clear, you know, like the friend, the creator friendship, right? But I think where it's really important is to, like, you guys watching, you know, to always like remember that, like, everybody, okay, no matter what they say, no matter how emotionally close to you they are, no matter you know, they say about others or whatever, in the end, most of these people, like, have met like maybe 0 to like a couple of times, and friendship is not as clear as just like For example, I have one person in my life that I have been friend with since like elementary school, and you know, they're one of my best friends. It's obvious we've been together, we've been supporting each other, we've done so many things, we've experienced so many things together, and I think, sadly, with online and everything, people don't experience that as much, like this closeness. So there's maybe a little bit of, I don't want to say, I don't know if despair is a good word, but like people are kind of hungry for friendship. I know I am, being like alone in Japan with with Miss Janken. I don't have a lot of friends, right? So I kind of I can understand that. But in the end, when you think about it all, it's just a gig.
Well,
I mean, it's we're having on the internet, you know.
Well, it's I mean, I'm viewing it more as a vocation, which does make it still a gig, but it is a little bit more emotionally charged there. I take but it's worth I mean, I just think it's one of those things like you need to learn how to navigate. And I do wonder if part of, I was going to say like another angle to this might be that there's not an illusion that it's worse in the VTubing community, but a reality that it's worse in the VTubing community. Because again, all we have are the observation of the phenomena, right? We've only got the surface level observations. Unless you do some really deep diving into it, you're not going to be able to do like good comparisons. Right, that's kind of so. You know, let's take seriously I was talking. Me and Janken have been talking about ways in which it might seem like it's worse than other professional communities, but isn't. But it might be worse. And a thing that I kind of notice right now about VTubing is you don't get mentored in VTubing. There's no.
Oh, man, I wish.
We don't have professional societies. There's a lot of things that we don't have that are normal things to have in, you know, like I said, if you're becoming a dentist, if you're becoming a massage therapist, if you're becoming a house painter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you will normally spend some time working under somebody who is more skilled than you at the job. And different career fields have different levels of this, right? Like in editing, that's like the only real training you ever get. Like you get like after high school level knowledge of how grammar works. Like it's all just like apprenticeship stuff. Like there's no like professional programs that you can go to. You can't go to college to become an editor. And at least not a writing editor. For video editors, there might be more options, but you know, you just have to learn from other people who are more experienced than you. And in VTubing, you just start, right? You just start. You just start at the arguably in some ways the biggest league, which is being fully independent. Being a fully independent agent is usually where you start out. And so you've got people who are 20 to 25 years old, starting out completely, and they haven't had people in their professional life go, dude, you just don't fucking say that out loud. like you're allowed to say that, you're allowed to think that, you're allowed to feel that, but keep your head the fuck down. Like it just doesn't happen. And so you know, again, part of this is like also the incentives of the whole being a content creator. This is hardly unique to VTubers.
No, for
hardly unique. Like I almost only ever hear about, there are entire segments of flesh tubing, both on YouTube and Twitch, that I only ever hear about because like it's blowing up on Twitter, and people are like, wow, this fucking drama is so crazy. There's we're at the point where like I know quite a few people who are wondering like, how the heck is there so much money in making YouTube videos about how other YouTube creators hate each other?
It's crazy, isn't it? Like it's and at a certain level, when it happened, I want to say I would like to ignore it, because you know what they say, you know, like any kind of like publicity is publicity, like good or bad. So who knows like what's gonna be like the stake after everything is deal and done. But yeah, like you just said, there's a lot of people that's gonna like jump on that train, and it's gonna be choo-choo. It's a content creation hour. So, but anyway, we're kind of going away.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're getting a little bit away from the. Well, I mean, yeah, we don't need a topic.
No, but we do have people maybe asking questions. I just wanted to have a little look there. Yeah, we have some. Do you want to just change topic for a little bit? Maybe something
sure.
chill?
Yeah, I've just been reading chat, so I was like, oh, I don't see any questions in chat.
No,
so I gotta keep
they are in a special. They are in a special.
They're in a special. They're in a special Al. They're in a special Al containment zone.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me see. Okay. Well. Okay, I think you're gonna like this one. If you had the money and the time, what would make you go back on the bench at school and study, or just in general? What would you study? Like, let's say you don't have to worry about work and don't have because I know you're a professor. So
I've been studying. I've actually so one of those things that the very short preamble here that is like not much of a secret. When you work with a this seems to be particularly true with people who do gaming. If you work professionally with video games, if playing video games is part of your professional work, which it is for us VTubers, you kind of stop playing video games in your free time. Like it really is really I really play like a lot less video games than I used to. And it's like what I am doing for fun in my free time is I'm studying kanji.
Yeah. I remember you did mention.
Yeah. I just tested myself today on my review slot. I got through 1670 kanji with a 5% error rate.
16,000?
1600.
Oh, 1600. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, 16,000 would be crazy. That's really crazy.
I was just like, my God,
really
he's getting fluent.
16,000 is not fluent. That's like you are really looking for some oddball ones there. Like you are working hard.
I don't remember what's the number to be considered. It's really high actually. The number to be
2,300 is the Jolyu.
Is it?
Oh. Yeah, 2,300 is Jolyu. 3,000 for the N1, I think.
I see.
But so like if you're getting over like 5,000, you're going crazy.
But only kanji, right? You're not like studying like grammar.
Not very hard.
Okay.
No, I'm just working on kanji because I just like working on the handwriting, man.
Of course.
Yeah, no, of course. So like, I would like to learn the rest of Japanese, but I am kind of focusing on the stuff that I am most drawn to first, and that like again, I'm a words first. I'm a writing first person. Yeah, most people are not, but I am, and focus on my strengths. And anyway, so like Japanese would not be a bad one for me.
Yeah.
It's goofy because I already studied a lot of it, but you know, going back to school for a slightly different history degree.
Oh, I see. Have you done Asian history?
I did mostly Chinese and Indian.
Nice.
Didn't do a lot of Japanese. I wound up getting a lot of British history because it was just like genuinely hard to, especially with the way Indian history is structured, right? Like as a form of knowledge. If you're studying Indian history, so much of it exists in the context of British history about India. And in relationships between Britain and India, that like you end up learning like how the British government works and like who Cecil Rhodes is and stuff like that. Like you just learn about this stuff. But they're just too interrelated. They're just too deeply interrelated.
For
just like how kind of everybody learns about American history. But yeah, for you, yeah.
For me, obviously, it would be Japanese too. Out of necessity, and as you, I did a lot of classes in the past. It's not like I cannot use it. I can, but like not to a usable level. Like it's really survival level more than anything. So definitely, if I was like, I don't know, paid to go back like on the bench, it would just be Japanese. If someone would be like, no, you can't select Japanese, maybe something programming related.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Okay.
like maybe something like simple like Python or like Java. Like I wouldn't do like the very complex programming. I am also interested in art, like drawing.
Okay.
But I don't think like it would like become anything. But programming maybe could help me when I'm not busy being a shopkeeper.
Yeah. Well, and it's yeah. Program's a funny one to me, right? Because it's kind of low on. I kind of go back and forth about programming because I've done a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And one of those things, I mean, just like survival stuff. Like I know my way around SQL. Because I worked white collar job for a while, right? And my white collar job involved like some pretty large data sets. So some like rudimentary Python and SQL was just like valuable for navigating the data we were using. And I say rudimentary SQL as if there's actually deep SQL. But the where one of those things that I found kind of funny, right, is I think I'm pretty bad at most video games. The
moment you say that, my brain is always brought back like to that Dark Soul saga.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. For people in chat who do not know, I am so bad at Dark Souls. I am so bad at Dark Souls. You don't understand. I died 123 times in the tutorial. It took me 3 streams to get past the tutorial.
That reminds me, I don't know why I found a video that was Dark Soul as a non-gamer. It was like it has like millions of views or something, and they were saying that the biggest problem really, what is it, Dark Soul 3 or just Dark Soul 1?
I've only played 1.
Is the 1, right? Yeah. Like that quote tutorial is like, it's not good. It's like it's really not good. And they made them play Elden Ring, where the tutorial like it is much easier. It tells you a lot more what to do, and like the kind of ramp. It's just crazy when you think about that this is that early in the game, right? So maybe it's not that you're a bad video game, but maybe just you didn't.
I know that I'm bad at other. I know that I'm bad at other games that are like that. Where I was going with this is that there is a type of video game that I do think I'm pretty good at. Which are Zachtronics, which is a very, very niche genre of puzzle games.
How do you call it?
Where Zachtronic.
I have never heard that.
As in like Zachary Electronic. Why would you? It's a very niche. It's turbo niche.
Okay.
And what it is it's a series where they do a bunch of like physics or chemistry style puzzles, but they're actually assembly code puzzles.
Okay.
They're actually assembly code. And that's the actual puzzles. Like, how do you do assembly programming optimally? And that's very niche, and I really like them, and I'm pretty good at them. And it turns out that there's no money in programming and assembly. That's not a real job at this point in human history. Like it's a solved problem.
Actually, I have a friend who used to work for a slot machine company. and some of their old machine were in using assembly coding. So he had to
well, I mean,
learn,
you need to. Oh yeah, I was like,
use
you need. I mean, assembly exists. It's just that usually it just seems to be like pretty solved in terms of going to other parts of programming.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a bunch of programmers in my community that have been like, oh, we can find a language that's kind of like that. I think the phrase they use is like high abstraction. I don't really know because I don't know that much about programming. But yeah, in general, it would be kind of like low on my list of priorities, but it was hard to deny that, like, you know, I look at how much money I'm making as a VTuber and I go,
But sadly, I don't have the time to study. Really, you know, I work, I stream, I prep for stream, I prep for future stream. So this is why my Japanese hasn't really improved despite living in Japan.
That is, yeah, that does suck. I like studying, to be honest. I like it, and
I usually don't.
I wonder if I am. I wonder if the people, if there's folks who are. I know that there are folks who get mad even hearing this. That like, I genuinely like studying, and I genuinely like going for runs. I genuinely like it, but you know, those are things that genuinely make me happy in a way that like gaming for hours or eating tons of junk food just doesn't.
What I liked when I was in university, studying does nothing to me. It's really like I don't know. It's a alone thing. But what I like was like going in classes and talking to a professor who's an expert like in their field, and we're discussing like, you know, like I think, and you know more than me about that, I think what it used to be university, where they would like have more conversation kind of learning rather than like book learning. It was kind of like sharing, and then you would learn through conversation with the professor. And especially like probably like when you go like more in the master and then a PhD, because very there's less people, right? But that there's and I absolutely could do. I love learning, but I don't like learning from reading a book or like practicing whatever. Like I like studying.
I've really wanted to like talk to some historians about this, because like there's kind of an element to this of like you need to have a certain grounding in the basics before you can even really get much out of having a conversation. I know this was I fucked it up in the other direction when I was a young professor, and I gave my students too much freedom, and they were just kind of not having the most productive times in the classroom, because I came straight out of graduate school, because that's how you do it, right? You go from graduate school and then you start teaching, and I was used to my fellow graduate students, and then I give my students, I'm like, hey, let's just have a conversation about this piece. What do people got to say? And they would just freeze up. They had nothing. And that's not very useful, a very good use of their time as students. And common mistake to make as a young professor is there's kind of two people who like. There's people like me who have like way too much faith in their students' ability to like be creative and self-motivated, and then there's the other type of young professor who has no faith in their students to be self-motivated and is like, I don't care about what your opinion is until you have completed like 6 more years of coursework. There is sort of like that's part of why like the further you go along in your schooling, you get more and more freedom and leeway, and you go more to that symposium discussion style. Because, when you're just doing symposium discussion style with people who aren't familiar with the topic, you have to just constantly be like, no, man, I don't think that's true. Like,
But that's okay. It's okay to say no, man. I don't think that's true.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
part
but
of learning,
it's not very efficient. I mean, that helps, but it's not very efficient compared to like going through the lecture notes. At least in the early stages, right? For the early stages, it's the less familiar somebody is with the basics of a topic, the more efficient it is to just do a lecture where you just tell people what you think is true. Like, and then like as you get further along, it becomes more and more efficient to do that creative exchange of ideas. But it's a kind of ramping effect, and where you wind up on that is going to be different, and different professors have different philosophies on it. I knew a chemistry professor who he would start doing open discussions in 200 level chemistry. Right, like you've had like 2 chemistry courses, and he's already like, so what did people think of the article?
No, but that never works. No one read the article, you know that. Like,
I mean, eventually they do. Eventually they do.
I mean, it's risky because there could be, because when I was a student, that's the thing, and I was praised by some of my professor. I'm usually the kind of students who wants to participate and will start topic and will ask question, and like I will nod, being like you know, yes, you're talking, and like someone is reacting and actually like listening to you. Very, very proactive in that kind of way. And that's what I mean is it's like by having like conversation is just like, I don't want to have someone in front of the class who just like reads like whatever like we could read, right? It's more like the participation is what I really like. As a student, it helped me learning, and even if I'm told like no, you're wrong, and maybe not, no, it's not like the best way to learn. For me, most of the time, being told to like no, you're wrong, let's think about it. This is where like I'm actively, because if I am not prompt to be actively thinking, or just like if I'm just listening, I can become the opposite of a good student. I fall asleep when I'm forced to listen to someone nonstop, and there's no interaction for me. I am gone. I am sleeping. I don't even control it.
I get that. I mean, in complete honesty, like my grades improved in graduate school, which is very unusual. That like I was a substantially better student in graduate school than I was in undergraduate, and I went to a reach school for my graduate school. I jumped up considerably in the ranks. As in like my graduate school was considered substantially harder than my undergraduate, and more prestigious. It was considered substantially more prestigious.
I see.
It was very lucky that I got it.
I see.
And no, I definitely get that. My grades improved partially because like it was harder and we had more discussion time, and also that I figured out some studying techniques that helped me a lot. The big one being
maybe
the
that's
right
what I'm lacking.
Yeah, I found that it made a huge difference for me to just write constantly.
Yeah. That I can't.
To always be doing something with my hands. And now I became a calligrapher. But the so I guess that worked out for me. But yeah, there's a lot of, this is one of those things, right, that I just in general I find it kind of interesting. This question of like, how do you teach? Because I think different things kind of require different teaching, and there are some places where I think we just do a bad job, flat out. I think that there are some places where the teaching techniques we have are flat out bad. And what I was going to say about like asking some historians about like historical teaching techniques is that there's always this tension between like giving your students freedom versus riding them really hard. And for most of the evidence I have for how we taught things, like we don't actually have evidence for how you taught people how to do pottery for thousands of years. We've got no evidence. We start getting evidence like relatively recently, but we do have evidence for thousands of years of how you taught people how to write. That we do. I have seen exercise books and student notebooks from 2000 BC. If you go to a museum and you go to the Sumeria exhibit, they might have some. It's very cool. It's super cool. One of my favorite artifacts is in Chicago, and it's a little clay tablet where a kid just starts doodling because they got bored during class, and we just have that. 4,000 years old, and we still have it. But the way that we understand how people were taught how to write for basically up until like the 20th century is you do drills for hours and hours a day. Ugh. And if you fuck up, the teacher hits you.
Man, drills suck.
And you just that's just what learning was. And then like starting in the 19th century, we start seeing these really experimental schools where they just do they just are like, oh yeah, like kids are naturally curious, let's just like let them like hang out and like answer their questions. And we start seeing that in the 19th century, right? That's not even like a hippy dippy 20th century thing, that's a hippy dippy 19th century thing. And I'm kind of curious as to like how much, but this kind of gives the impression, the way that I've laid this out gives the impression that like teachers didn't experiment or think about it for thousands of years. And that just doesn't sound right to me. That just doesn't sound right to me. That doesn't sound right. And so I want to talk to some historians and be like, so like, hold on, what's the deal here?
Well, I mean, we could go into this, but like teaching, for a lot of people, it's not about teaching. If you understand what I mean, it's about forming people, like little people to. I was about to say something else. Little people to work in society. You know,
a
lot of people. That's what they think. Like it should be, and it has to be.
Oh, hey, it's Kiri. Well, yeah, Miss Janken. Because like a lot of the time when you're a teacher, you get used to being challenged and in silly ways, and then you get used to resting on your authority as a teacher as the evidence that you are correct. And that produces a pretty like incurious form of argumentation.
I've never understood. I've never understood like, and just to follow what you just said, because it's not in my nature. I never understood how some people, they just like cannot fathom that it's possible that they're wrong. And they never question it, and they never go like, let me think about that. They just go like, this is it. This is me. I have the knowledge. This is it. And I will never question it. Like you just said, like some people, you know, this is how like they've been teaching. This is, and then maybe the teacher is not challenged to, maybe, I don't know.
I mean, teachers will get challenged, but in ways that aren't like, you'll also get challenged in ways that aren't like productive, right? Like I remember a student who just like didn't believe in the Holocaust.
Okay, yeah.
And
no, but that's just that. That's not challenge. That's just like where this is dumb. This is,
and you get that a lot. You get that a lot.
Just,
like,
yeah. But I mean, like, it's just like, okay, here's the fact. If you don't, it's not about believing. It's just like,
I mean, that's why
help.
It's
get some help.
That's why it's frustrating. Right. Yeah. That's why I understand why like if that happens a bunch, like as a professor or as a teacher, like you start getting you start going eventually like your default stance when somebody raises a problem to you is like, oh, I'm gonna hear some stupid bullshit, and the best thing I can do is to just like squash it and like move on.
Talking about move on.
Yeah, talking about moving on.
We're talking about that topic a little bit, and was just like, woo!
I mean, if you ask a question about teaching, unsurprisingly, the person who was a teacher for years and years is going to have like a lot of opinions on it.
No, but that's why I brought the topic. But let's move to another one because I think I like this question too, if you don't mind. The person said, as old man that likes old thing, I mean, to a degree, what is the oldest thing that you possess? And that's pretty fun as being a pawn shop and with Pomme Star. I think that is a good question. right on the top of my head, I don't know. Do you, I mean, I have to think about it. The oldest.
I'm
thing.
thinking about it right now. The oldest thing that I can affirmatively date that I currently have in my apartment is from. I would need to check the label on it, but I think it's 1936.
Okay.
I have a painting from. I think it's 1936.
Oh, a painting. Nice.
Yeah. It was that's been in the family. Like I got it from my grandfather.
Oh, I see. What do I have that is old? I don't have any heirloom or things that were given. Do I? When I think about it, the first thing that comes to mind is like not that old is would be like my personal like Super Nintendo. Surely I have something older than that, but I left a lot of stuff in Canada too, right? So here in Japan, I don't have like that much old stuff. Yeah, I can't think of anything that I think that's it. I think it's like a old Super Nintendo that I have. I used to have an Atari, but yeah, I don't have art or anything. So that's a good way to have something that is a bit older. But
yeah, I'm thinking about this because like to me that actually feels like the Chakuran's like, whoa, almost a century old. And here I'm trying to think about like, do I have anything that's like 200, 300 years old? I know that my parents at least have some 19th century tools.
Yeah.
A hammer's still a hammer, man. You know, a hammer's still a hammer. You know, it still just works. Oddly, all of my calligraphy stuff is quite new. Like I'm twiddling one of my calligraphy pens right now, and it looks very old, but it's actually like probably less than a year old. It's quite new. And so I
for me, I don't have any other things that comes to mind. Maybe I'm forgetting stuff that I own back in Canada, but interesting. Do you? No, you don't collect because when I asked you, you were like, "Oh, you
not
don't
really.
have the space for it, right?" So,
no, I don't have much of a collection of anything. I mean, I've got some books, but looking at it, a couple of these books are from the 50s. I don't think I've got anything pre-World War. I don't think I've got anything that's older than because I think almost everything I've got is paperback, and I just don't think they were really doing much. They were doing this kind of like paperback binding back in like the 20s. I just don't think that really was a thing. So, but yeah, I've got a couple of books I bought at a used bookstore that are like probably like 50s. Some of these books were written older than then. I've got a book of Lu Xun's poetry, and Lu Xun died a long time ago, and I've got some Nietzsche on the shelf, but like this is a modern copy of Nietzsche. This is a Penguin Classics. It was printed after I was born. But yeah,
books can be something that is easily old.
Yeah, but they do fall apart. You gotta take care of your books.
Yes,
I am not good at taking care of my things.
That's
part of the reason why I'm not. I'm pretty harsh on my things.
I would not have. I don't know. You don't give me that look. I mean, you don't give me this impression. I mean,
I actually one of my funniest possessions is I'm very picky about the shape of my earbuds.
Okay.
I'm very picky about it, and the local store that I would buy them from stopped carrying the kind that I like. And so I couldn't find them online. They just like weren't on Amazon. They weren't anywhere. I was going nuts. And I managed to track down this style of earbuds to a factory in Shenzhen.
Ah.
And so I bought 100 pairs for $50.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. The 50-cent earbuds. I break them all the time. I break them constantly. Like they last like a month or two.
And it's for sleeping. Like where it's
Oh
for...
yeah, no. Sleeping is probably not doing them any favors. You know, but I sleep with them. I've got them in while I'm running.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I tend to wear my stuff out. I don't buy a lot of things. I tend to be pretty harsh on the stuff I own. I tend to prize durability for a reason.
I see. I got more questions for us, and some of them are actually I'm gonna say life tips that maybe there's one that I know you can definitely answer, and the other one we can probably both tackle. One of the question is, how can we make friends? We're kind of going back to the friends topic. How can we make friends as adults? Because it is indeed not a struggle, but it is a challenge. It's much more challenging when you're young and in school, and you don't have as much responsibilities and that kind of stuff. Because I know, I already said so. I personally don't have a lot of like close friends, right? They're all like back in Quebec, and when I'm up, they're sleeping, and after many years, they kind of forget. And I can't blame them. I know it's time zone, it's hard, and they have their own life, and they can't really like make their life like fit to mine. So yeah, I kind of get it. So for me, I would like to know the answer myself. So it's kind of hard, but I would say, as a lot of other things, it's about hobbies as an adult. What do you think?
I do think that matters quite a bit. It gives you that kind of like lubrication. To get it started. And the like when you're a kid and you're making friendships, like the fact that you are just put into proximity and having to take classes together, for those of us who grew up in mandatory schooling environments, those are things that kind of drive towards friendship. But once you're an adult, your potential world is much wider, right? And when you're talking to somebody, I mean, admittedly, my experience is, I live in one of the biggest cities on the planet. People are always hustling and bustling here, and if people don't have a reason to, if you don't have like a reason to be talking to somebody, people are like, well, hold on, what is this guy doing here? They're looking for what your angle is. And if you share a hobby, that really like kind of gets past this initial barrier of skepticism and this initial barrier of like, well, I'm never going to see or hear from this person again, so I'm not going to invest in this conversation. I'm not going to invest in learning about this person because it's just a frustrating waste of time, and I'm busy, because New Yorkers are a very busy, stressed out people. And so that's, I do think that the hobbies angle matters quite a lot. I think it's very important.
Because I know with all there's a lot of people their new hobby would be like VTubers, right? Like live streaming. Yeah. And I've seen people saying, making posts and comments on, how about like you have more than one hobby? Just get out of this community for today and just like go find another hobby, like, And I'm a little bit like that. I'm trying to develop more like recently, but I've been really, really into VTubing for the past like 5 years, and to the point where I was just like, I get it. I need more hobbies, because sometimes that's the thing, right? You would have like one hobby, for example, I don't know, something that is very personal. I don't know, gardening. Let's say gardening, right? Yeah. Gardening, like, you're with your plants, and maybe you have interaction when you go buy more plants, and maybe you can meet people there, but it's not like you're actively meeting people with this hobby. So it's not only a hobby, but also finding a hobby that like has the potential to also get to get out.
My habit about thinking about like what you do with your time.
Mm.
Is I tend to think it's very important to have variety.
Mm.
And in particular, what I mean by this, where I'm going with this, is that I think it's very important to, if you're really invested in one hobby, to then do another hobby that uses a different part of your brain. That's not cosmetically different, but structurally different. And so I tooting my own horn here a little bit. I did a guide a few weeks ago about avoiding burnout, and
you are so ready for the next question.
Yeah, a strong suggestion I had. Do we want to go into that? Because I can.
I mean, I will tell you what is the next question, because you're kind of like you're being a bit of a you're kind of guessing it here. The next question was, and that I even told you probably have an answer for that, and then you kind of prove it even before we get to it. Is how do you kind of deal with academic burnout?
Academic burnout. Okay.
Yeah.
Academic burnout is, I think the answer. I had a pretty brutal time with academic burnout.
I had a feeling if there was someone who would understand.
Yeah. I'm definitely better at managing burnout now as a VTuber than I was as an academic. But I do think that the same type of advice applies. And so my suggestion for streamers is that I think the best hobby to pick up if you are a streamer and a VTuber and you're getting like burned out on your streaming is books. Is reading books.
No, not books. My mortal enemy.
No, I've got an argument here. I've got a real argument here. So let's think about what streaming is like versus what a book is like. Streaming is a multi-sensory experience, right?
Mm.
Books are monosensory, are mono. Streaming is interactive. Books are non-interactive. But the most important one to me is that books have a deliberate edited endpoint. The endpoint of a streamer's career is they get too burnt out to keep going or they die. Right? Like they just keep on going until they can't. And the streams just go on and they go on and they go on. A book has and this is why I think it's like a book, not just like serial web fiction, but like a graphic novel's fine. Something that has a deliberate edited endpoint, that has like a place that it is leading to, that was planned from the beginning, that is incorporated to the whole way through. Because we don't have a plan here, right? We're just vibing. We're just hanging out. But you need that contrast in your life between just vibing, just hanging out, having no deliberate endpoint, that every moment what you're thinking about is how can we keep things moving forward? How can we keep things, how can we keep pushing things? An edited book does not do that. An edited book has an extremely opposite type of structure, and it engages your brain in a completely different way. And also, it doesn't require that you look at a screen. So that's why I think books are the best for this. But other things that have deliberate endpoints, I think are fine. And to wit, when we're talking about academics, right? You had this question about academics. I think the same kind of logic applies of do a hobby that is nearly the opposite of what you're doing as an academic. And many academics have landed on this conclusion about what the best hobby is for an academic to do. And I'm wondering if Janken can figure it out.
One of the best hobby for an academic to kind of like ease their brain from the burnout, right?
Yeah.
Opposite of...
You're going to smack your forehead when I say it.
I mean, it could be as simple as just like, because I think there's a lot of people that's how they do it. I'm thinking of video games. I don't know why. And maybe it's too simple, but
it's actually even simpler. It's hit the gym.
Ah, yes.
it's hit the gym.
Yeah. It's very, how can I say, like pumping that iron, right? It's very liberating in a way. It's just like you kind of feel that tension kind of go into when I was a lot more into training myself, like really going out after a gym session, you're just like like you're just like, I feel like whatever like that was like left in me, I kind of like let it
And yet,
go through.
if you are reading articles and paying attention very hard to everything that you're doing with your eyes and your brain for like 100 hours a week, a video game's actually not that appealing.
It's true.
Right? You want to do something that like really shuts you down. And I think that this logic generally applies. I think not infrequently about a woman I knew who was, for some reason, she was a nurse at 2 different hospitals. She was working like double shift as a nurse, which is horrifying.
It's crazy.
Insane. And so her hobby when she got home was that she was an NPC streamer.
No way.
Yeah. It's like she's responsible for so much in her daily life. She is put into so many situations where she's under so much pressure
Just
and so
turn
much
off her
responsibility.
brain.
Yeah, just turn off her brain and let somebody else tell her what to do.
Okay. All right. That's funny. Wow.
Yeah. So I think that like this is my belief is like the best hobby is the one that contrasts very heavily with your main hobby.
So my new hobby is to lose my guest. I think his internet must have gone. No, he's online. Hello? Oh, no, it's my internet. Is it me? Am I the problem? Hello? No, I don't think I'm the... Okay, it's the internet hiccup. Oh, man. Now that Al's not here, so silent. It's so silent over here. I'm kidding. Let's see. Weird because lost internet. Wait, but my Discord is also being weird right now. Hold on. Yeah, sorry about that. We're having a tech issue out of nowhere. But YouTube is still going. So is Discord down? Question mark? Oh. Okay. Let's reboot Discord. It's now I'm gonna need to change the title to Old Men with an A. Old Men Yap. Oops, sorry about that. Discord does not respond. Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody to Old Men Tech. And this is the show where we old men fix technical issue. Okay, let's kill Discord. Let's reopen Discord. Can you updating failed, retrying in 3 seconds. Tested another server. Can you come back in VTS? Question mark. It should be the same info you have. Yeah, my Discord is still no-go. So weird. It must be just me because there's no one in chat saying like, oh yeah, my Discord is not working too. No response on VTS. What is going on? Wow, I can't go on Twitter. What? Can I go on, I don't know, random website? Yes. Is Twitter dead for you guys? What is going on? Yeah, I cannot go on Twitter. Okay, there's a problem with my internet for sure. I may have to reboot. DNS problem? Oh no. We pissed off someone. We pissed off someone. Okay, give me a sec. Guys, I have to reboot. Okay, don't panic. We'll be back.
Are we back?
Are we back?
I'm going
We should be back according to my OBS. Hello?
Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you doubled. So it looks like we are back. Looks like we are.
We
back.
are. Okay.
Hello, everybody. Hello,
all
everybody.
right. Hello. Wow. What happened? Okay.
That happens. That happens.
Yeah, that happens. Apparently, it decided to be like net right now during our stream. I think
incredibly horrible luck.
I think it destroyed my OBS for seeing what people say. So I'm just gonna need to fetch the chat elsewhere. Let yeah, OBS chat is not updating. So if you guys are talking, I don't see it just yet.
I'm seeing some chat.
Oh yeah, okay. I see it too. All right. So that happened.
Unfortunate luck there. Unlucky, as they say.
What were we even talking about? We're talking about hobbies and.
Oh, I mean, yeah. My kind of broader point was like, if you're worried about burnout from one thing, do something that is as unlike it as possible.
So
that uses completely different part of your brain.
I have a question.
Right. Yeah.
I know a lot of people tell me, Janken, you should read more books. And I get it. I should see more book. But my problem is I cannot find the enjoyment because not because of the reading, but more like it's not comfortable. I'm not comfortable when I'm reading. Like some people I just sit in a chair. When I read, I'm always like, oh, I have to change position. Like, oh, my arms it's just like, I don't know why. Like I've never been able to be comfortable reading.
So there's a couple of options there. Goofy option is so I mean, do you feel that way when you're playing a video game?
No.
Okay, have you just read a book on your computer?
I mean, I can, and I probably had, but I also think it's maybe how can I say? I get distracted a lot, like, and I feel like if I do it on my computer, it's super easy to get distracted compared to trying taking a book. So I don't think that like what I'm trying to achieve with like the kind of like getting away from the computer really works when I do it like at a computer.
And Quotable Gnome says the better option.
Yeah, the audiobooks, right? I thought about that, but like just like I'm just not gonna watch your YouTube.
Well, I mean, I would say, I mean, again, the point is to get yourself out of what you are used to doing, right? It's to give yourself an outlet that is very different from watching streams or being on streams. So get an audiobook and put it on your phone and put in some earbuds and go for a walk.
That doesn't sound appealing to me at all. I don't know why. It's just like I've the older I get, it's I feel it should be the opposite. But the older I get, the more impatient I get. I'm just like, come on, that's so long. Let's get done with it. And
I mean, you know, again, like the point is more to so you said all the words for things Janken hates. Incredible. And again, I mean, it's what I think is. I don't want to be too doctrinaire about this, right? Like I suggest books because it's the least. To me, the question of like how much is this is whatever your second hobby, how useful is it going to be for resolving your feelings around burnout? I think that the more different it is, the more efficient it is. But like, if it makes you miserable, that's even worse.
But that's the thing. Even worse. I wish I kind of see the appeal. That's what makes it like frustrating. I see the appeal, and especially like if I read a book, like I don't know, let's say there was a lot of people that was telling me you should read books about like how to run a business, you know, about how to do skill related book about just like stuff to self-improvement. So I'm like, I get it, but like it's just been something I don't naturally do. So maybe I should try the audiobook at least.
I mean, so again, it could just do something different. Like I to me, that's the lowest friction method. But the truth of the matter is that reading isn't even my favorite hobby off stream. My favorite hobby is cooking.
Yeah, you cook a lot. Yeah, I remember.
I cook and bake a lot. I've baked like 3 different breads in the last like week. Like I love cooking and baking, and like that's also something where it's like I am not talking while I'm doing it. That's actually very important for me because I literally had to cancel a stream this week because I wore out my throat too badly.
Oh, I think I saw.
Yeah. And that's you know, it's only like I'm not talking. I'm working with my hands. Which admittedly, like I work with my hands on stream a lot, so it's not that much of a difference. But like, I'm working with my hands. I'm doing something that's really just for myself, right? Or anybody who happens to be coming by my apartment. But I'm mostly just doing this for myself, as opposed to like for an audience, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like it's a very different way of engaging with the world than how I engage with the world as a streamer or as an editor, which are actually relatively similar by comparison. So you know, working out, reading a book, cooking, these are all very, very different hobbies. And I think that having a hobby that the connection to your main line of work is basically non-existent, I think that's very important for avoiding burnout. That to me is very important. I think it's not the single most important. The single most important is, this is a very American phrase. Very, very American phrase here, so I'm going to sound incredibly American here. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
No,
you know, the best way.
No, it's true.
The best way to avoid burnout is to pace yourself.
Yeah,
and learn how to recognize like the early stages of burnout in yourself, and do not fall for the trap of I just need to get through the week. I just need to get through the month. I just need to get through the year. Don't fall into that. Because that's how they fucking get you. That's how they get you.
What about FOMO?
FOMO is a different consideration.
Well, FOMO has a grip on me, man.
Oh,
like if I don't do those like things to kind of not burn out, it's often because FOMO exists. And I'm always like, oh, but then this is happening. Oh, and then this is happening. Oh, and I get to get into this. Oh, because like it's to me, I think when I started streaming, it became a lot worse than it was before. You know, I'm gonna miss an opportunity. I'm gonna miss like this kind of mentality, like as much as like I have like, you know, like probably a good recommendation, like you said, to just like, you know, do something else, sometimes I really feel like FOMO has really a grip on me.
I would say so. I will say like part of that, unfortunately, is that like by being in not just the content creation sphere, but very much the VTubing sphere. The VTubing sphere. This is definitely a place where the VTubing sphere is in fact worse than other parts of content creation or your social life. Very much engines built around getting people to feel and experience FOMO. This is what your this is something that like people in this space are deliberately cultivating and deliberately pushing for, because it's part of your that's part of what you experience as that's part of how you build an audience. That's part of how you make money.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't that like live streaming period?
Yeah. Live streaming does that a lot. I think VTubers do it slightly, not like enormously more, but slightly more. VTubers do because of like the background in like idol culture and like how art revealing works as compared to like how other live streamers kind of do things. I do think we're a little bit worse. I don't think we're categorically enormously worse,
but
I do think it's a little bit worse. It's like 20-30% worse.
So how do we get out of it? Do we don't?
I mean, unfortunately, I don't know that there's a collective solution here. I think that there might be an individual solution here, which is unfortunately like you just gotta like really get used to yourself, Janken, as an individual person who lives in linear time, and that you just have to make decisions about how you're going to use your time. That's it. You just have to make decisions about how you're going to use your time. I would say that an important part of managing FOMO, there are a couple parts here. One is remember that this is just like a mantra to me, and I literally stole it from the movie The Princess Bride, so don't act like I'm that pretentious about it. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. You know, like that has got to be number one. That has got to be number one, is that when if you have to do something between eating a meal and going to some cool collab event, you gotta eat. You gotta sleep. You gotta go to the doctor. Those are more important.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do those things, they will charge interest. They will charge very, very high interest.
And when you say that, it's just a reality, and we're seeing it more and more recently within our community. There are people who literally like destroy themselves, pushing it. Like a lot, like recently, all the stuff that is happening, a lot of it has to be about they push themselves too much and they're being pushed too much, but at the same time, it's just like there's a lot of people that would be like, yes, true, like you only have one health, right? And if you don't have one health, like you have nothing, like you just said. So it's always like the hard decision on when it's time to push yourself and when it's time to, I guess for some people maybe it's easier. I'm the kind of guy, when I get into hyper focus, I kind of forget.
Yeah.
It sounds silly. I forget about myself, but I don't realize in a way. So I guess it's just a journey of just like, you know, listening to yourself more, I guess.
Yeah, listening to yourself is, I think, the most important part. Like I said, it's definitely a and I think Miss Janken actually hits on something that I've been thinking about quite a bit. I've particularly with like AI discourse kind of stuff. And we have a surfeit. We have an absolute avalanche. We have too much of things that we could do. The thing that you have a limit on is your attention.
Yes, exactly.
That's where your actual limit is your attention and your time. And if we're being completely honest, this has probably always been true, right? Like,
just
if you are, if you know, you would be shocked by how much time you can spend looking at leaves.
At leaves?
Yeah, at just leaves. At just.
Oh,
just
yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, it was always an option. You always had the option of going down to the beach and counting every single grain of sand. Humans have always had that option, and that will absolutely kill you before you finish it. But the reality is like you need to make decisions about how you spend your time, and I would say so. What FOMO is doing as a strategy, as a conceit, is that FOMO is trying to give you anxiety about feeling regret in the future. That's kind of what it is. The fear of missing out. You are borrowing future regrets. And so how do you manage this? To me, what has helped is to just try and not live with as much regret. I found Nietzsche very helpful on this front. Nietzsche, one of universe's least useful philosophers, least helpful men to have ever lived, managed to help me out here. And I found Tacitus also relatively helpful here, though I actually find Tacitus not that helpful. But yeah, doing some taking some time that you would go towards just kind of telling myself repeatedly, like, look, I did the best I could with the information I had at the time. Right? Like, it's just, I can think of opportunities within VTubing that I have flubbed.
Yeah, I can think of I wanted to tell you, like, how do you feel about that? Is that a thing that you ever like have to deal with?
Honestly, my biggest regret in VTubing was something I actively did, and it was just a stupid fucking idea, and that I regret. In terms of like things I've missed out on, I don't tend to feel super duper bad about it. Is the reality. Like, I can think of one VTuber event that I could have probably gotten in on if I had been just like 5% more well established at the time that it happened, because a lot of my friends were in it, right? A lot of people who I'm friends with and are like it wasn't like I was just like not remotely in the big leagues. This isn't like I didn't get into like HoloLive Gen 2 or something like that. No, it's like this was something like other indies, other people I'm personally friends with were in and were involved in, and then I just didn't get in, and I talked to the event runner, and she was just like, "Oh, sorry, I just didn't really know you," and she knows me now, and so like if she does it again, I'll probably be in again, and that's just life, right? When you make decision, like let's say you got to make decision what you're gonna do, like not what you may have missed, but that was not like in your control. But let's say I don't know, for example, right now there's a lot of like great title that has like a lot of eyes on, people are interested like on let's say you want to do a gaming I mean
right?
gaming right now I feel very pulled in a lot of directions. I recently did Metal Gear Solid 1 because it's the year of the snake, and I actually like the Metal Gear Solid series. And it's like I've got, so here's me looking at my own future gaming schedule, thinking forward to the next couple weeks. So I've got I could do Metal Gear Solid 2. I could do some random ass games that I just happen to like. I could do Repo, which is going very well for a lot of people these days. I could do Blueprints, which is a game that's very on brand for me and is very popular with a lot of people, and that people are recommending to me very heavily. I could do Clarobscura.
Yeah.
Pronouncing in the like least French way possible. It would probably sound even better if I tried to pronounce it with a Japanese accent. Creator obscura. Probably sounds less bad than whatever the fuck I was just doing there.
Obscure is an interesting sounding word.
Obscura.
Obscure.
And I've got all these options, and then the truth of the matter is that the way I tend to do it is I tend to be a person who's very rigid about sticking to my schedules. And so I spend a lot of time on Sunday making my schedule, and then I stick to it very hard. And that's kind of how I do it. Is like I've convinced myself that sticking to my schedule and sticking to my plans is more important
than just like flopping everything just because something happened.
Yeah. And I will say, like, my own kind of experience, but this is just insider baseball stuff. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys, for the boring behind the scenes meta stuff on this one. My experience has been that when I try to take advantage of like broader community viral moments, I just don't get any results. They just have very little impact. People show up because when I get people, they like me and they stick around because they think that they think that I am interesting to talk to and am relaxing and blah blah blah. I get very little traction out of doing Voice of the Void or whatever. Like it's I get the same kind of numbers for doing the hippest, coolest new thing, or for literally doing calligraphy or painting a miniature. Like it does not matter. So I just need to like that's part of it. Is just like just kind of this awareness that like this shit, the payoff for this is like nothing. The payoff for this is in
but
my
I'm
head.
coming back with the FOMO. What if you
yeah.
What if you miss the right opportunity for you?
I mean,
maybe I'm an overthinker. Like, don't get me wrong.
I know you're an overthinker. That's not a question. That's not a question.
But that's thing that sometimes just like, what if I missed an opportunity there? It's that kind of FOMO that gets me. I shouldn't. It's the what if in any circumstances. I don't think like either in creation or in life in general. But man, the what if. They get me. What if you miss an opportunity? And I think, and I'm gonna bring back something that you told me. It was kind of funny when I told you that I didn't want to have specific topics today, and you were like, the rare relax, Janken.
The rare relax. Yeah.
And I think it's just a matter. At the end of the day, it's just a matter of. And I know this is for me a lifelong journey. It's a matter of accepting that you will never probably control much of how things go, except like in the moment what you decided to do. Outside of that, there's not much more you can do. And I don't know, like. If it's something that I think it's something a lot of people have to go through. I mean, so for some others probably easier to deal with, but in the end of just like, you know, like you said, just being more relaxed, just like, you know, whatever happened.
Kinda. Yeah, you. I mean, the thing is, like you. Here's I guess a way of thinking about it. I like to. This is one of those things I guess I get from that like whole history education is thinking about it from the perspective of what did the people at the time know? What did somebody at the time know? Because it's easy for us with our mocking aftersights, you know, to look at the Protestant Reformation and know that Luther was going to be successful, but Huss was not going to be successful. But like, why would you know that at the time? If you're some random Bavarian peasant, why would you understand that like the Hussite rebellion is just going to get you killed, but the Luther rebellion is probably going to get you killed, but might also completely change the world? Like why would you know that? Why would some random peasant know that? And so, you know, you think about it in terms of, this is why I used that phrasing earlier of, you know, doing the best with the information I had at the time. think about, because like you really don't know. A lot of my fame came from a specific viral moment on Twitter, when with my model artist posting the concept art for me and it going very, very big. And neither me nor him expected that. Right? Like, we expected it to get like 100 likes, and it got like 100,000 likes or some shit like that. It was very different from what we expected. We were talking about it while it was going on. And the fact of the matter is that this is also part of the reason why, when I talk to people who are pretty experienced content creators, like people who, I am friends with at least 2 VTubers who were already professional content creators before they became VTubers. And one of those things that they say is like, it's all about just buying a lot of different lottery tickets. Don't like overcommit to individual projects, which that's their perspective. And also, but you get so much conflicting advice. Much conflicting advice, and
which come back to what we said, like literally like an hour 30 ago, when we're like, there's no mentor in whatever we're doing, right? Yeah, you mentioned that earlier, and I was just like, it is what it is. Like, we do the best of with what we have, I guess.
And I mean, I guess I'm also a little bit more okay with this, because my own life outside of VTubing, before I was a VTuber, my own life was very much a life where things just, there's not been a connection in my life between the work I put in and the results I got. Just in general. That's kind of what I think, is that like the amount of work I put in to going into academia, right? And based on the knowledge that I had when I started that career trajectory, and the knowledge and the information I had, like, I come from a family where like that's not an unusual career trajectory. That's not an unusual career among people I'm descended from. Based on people who got into academia 50, 70 years before I did, this is like the most stable career on the planet. This has not been true in the last 30 years at all.
Yeah.
It is not a stable or good career. It is a post-career hobby for rich fail sons. Like, it's not a real job. Not in the sense like it doesn't require work, but in the sense like you're not going to get fucking paid. Like, it pays like sub pizza delivery money. Like I was doing blue collar work to pay into my career as a professor.
Dang.
Like, and so that's like, it's just not, but based on the knowledge I had when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, it looked like a really obvious, stable, meaningful career path that like I had been built for. And then it turns out that it wasn't in practice. And how could I have known that? Right? How could I have known that? And then it's like, that was something that was decades in the making, right? Because people started trying to get me into that line of work when I was like 4. Was like when people were like, oh yeah, this kid's gonna be like an intellectual, this kid's gonna be an academic, this kid's gonna be a professor. And so decades in the making, and it still failed because of situations that were completely out of my control. And so how in the world am I supposed to feel that much regret about, like, there was some big collab event that I didn't hear about, or like I got in on an art style that was on the way out, or I didn't play a game that was popular. Like, how is that even supposed to compare?
It's true. But, but like we said, right? Like, it's also a matter of accepting that, like you said, like we don't know. We can't really know, even if we try our best. But when I say despite us trying our best, and I think maybe it is one of the aspect that when I was kind of younger, I was not very driven. Like I had to go back to school, like kind of older, And there's something that I kind of convinced myself, and then getting older, I realized that it's not always true. Is that despite what the world kind of tried to tell us, is that effort does not equal result all the time. Because you would think like we're kind of shaped and just like, oh, you're not trying hard enough. You're not doing enough, right? You gotta give more effort. And that's the one thing that is also that I've learned growing up, is that sadly it's really not always the case that effort equal results.
No, I know it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, like I to some extent this feels like the overwhelming zeitgeist of our current era, because it's one of the biggest growing industries the last couple of years.
Well, except AI, I guess.
Gambling.
Oh, that's crazy.
We live in the age of the gambler. We live in the age of the gambler these days, and it's not just like casinos. It's not just sports betting. It's gacha games.
Yeah,
it's gacha games. It's battle passes. It's loot boxes. Right? Like we very much live in the era where people are like hyper cognizant of how little connection there is between effort in and results out. And I think that this is kind of this is very zeitgeisty, and I think that like we living inside of it. I don't know if embrace it is the right word, but I think tolerate it is something that we've got to get used to, and it does require a certain amount of tolerance for injustice, because it does feel unjust, right? It does feel unjust that, in my own VTubing, projects that I put dozens, if not hundreds of hours into got very little results, and projects that I put 5 minutes into got tons of results, which is something that like any artist will tell you, right? Any artist will tell you. And I mean, it's not just like an online thing.
Oh no! It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's
everything.
There's a very famous sci-fi author named Harlan Ellison, an American sci-fi author from the 50s named Harlan Ellison. 60s, I'm sorry. He's a 60s sci-fi author. And he is really famous for a short story known as "I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream."
Oh yes, I think I think I heard of that.
You've probably heard of it. There have been video games made of it. It's a hell of a story. The title is incredible. The title is incredibly evocative.
It's a really good title.
And I read it and it was amazing. And then I read a bunch of other short stories by Harlan Ellison, and I don't doubt that he put a lot of work into them, but they're just not as good. Like something I don't know. I don't think it's a matter of effort, because like everything I've heard about the man makes it sound like he took his craftsmanship very seriously, and did that the rest of his life, and then he fell, like he wrote I don't doubt the sincerity of the works he wrote, because the works that he wrote, most of the stories he wrote were incredibly horny. In the way that only a 60s 70s sci-fi author and the reality is, I don't think that he knew when he wrote "I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream" that it was going to define his entire life.
No, for sure.
I don't think that he knew that was going to be his everything. That it was going to be what people were going to bring up every single time. That
reminds me, sometime YouTube throw some documentary at me, and sometime I'm curious, and there was this the concept of what is it one hit wonder in music, right?
Yeah
right. And there was this one guy, what is it? The title is in the lyrics is just like that guy that I used to know. No, it's like that I used to know. Anyway, that one that hit.
Somebody I used to know. Yeah.
Somebody I used to know. Yeah, exactly. And that's a one hit wonder, and it literally pushed a guy to like burnout. Because that's the only thing people wanted. That's the only thing people cared. The only thing people talked about. The only thing ever that like nothing else like had never worked. Nothing like even despite efforts and whatever. Like it's just like that's the only thing people want. It's the one thing ever. And I was like, that's crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is wild. I will say my favorite thing from the history of one hit wonders is the song. Not as a song, but like the story behind it is incredibly funny to me. Is "Tub Thumping" by Chumbawamba.
Maybe if I heard it,
you've almost certainly heard it because it's from '97.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this goofy dumb song that did incredibly well. By far the most successful thing by the band. The band is like an anarcho-communist punk collective. And then they just randomly tried their hand at making like a by the numbers pop song, and they like made $1 bajillion, and then nobody gives a crap about the rest of the stuff they do because it's, you know, because it's like it's anarchist punk stuff. Like it's
but it is just a reality that
mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, there was what was it that there was a theory. Is it? I can't remember the name. I think I was talking about it with Janken. That like in reality, like in the most basic kind of core of everything in this history of everything is that it's just pure RNG.
Yeah.
Like when we think control or whatever, like we're talking about that. It's just like it's just like when we take it to the core, it's just like roll of dice. Everything, every moment, every second.
Oh, I mean, this is you know, this is a place where me and you have some common ground. Is that me and you are both kind of control freaks, and we feel.
I wasn't sure if you ever felt like that.
I do feel like that. I think that I am either more burnt out or more recovered than you, but I do I do respond very negatively to loss of control over, you know, and I think I'm good about not trying to be controlling over other people, but like
no, that is a thing that seriously like I avoid. Definitely, it's more about me.
Yeah, and one of those things like I kind of meditated on a lot. I used to have a commute that went through a train station that people tend to think is beautiful and that I absolutely fucking hate, called Broadway Junction. Broadway Junction is one of the bigger train stations in New York City, and it has a roughly 5 floor, I don't actually even know because you start to lose track at this point, story difference between the platforms. Like the J platform and the A platform, it's you're walking down multiple flights of stairs, but it's one straight shot down steel stairs. And when you're walking down that, eventually you just become incredibly aware, or at least I did, that one slip and you are going down all those stairs, and they are steel and concrete. You know, even somebody who's pretty healthy, that can kill you.
Oh, stairs are terrible.
And it's just this insane thing that's like, oh, the thing that is keeping my brain inside of my skull is my ability to not slip while going down these stairs. Did not like this. I did not like this sense of uncontrol. I was not a fan.
It's a bit grim, the story I'm about to say. Yeah. Did I say it again? I don't know. But it's a bit grim, but it's just reality. There was a news in Montreal that sadly a young person died because the one step they had in the apartment that they were was icy, completely icy, and they slip and they crack their skull, and sadly, that's the end of the story. It's insane. Like, to think about these things scare me. Like, when we talk about the RNG, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe because like how like it is like so roll a dice. I'm kind of trying to cope.
yeah. I mean, I will say like part of how like I kind of manage in my life is like I try to keep very, very tight control over like my very personal space. It's not necessarily the cleanest, but like I know where things are. Very few people come through my personal space. Functionally, nobody goes in my bedroom other than me. And I, you know, it's my stuff. It's where I want it to be. I am putting very little effort into making things look nice by other people's standards.
Well, you have a nice painting apparently, so there's that.
I do. It's I mean, I've got several nice paintings. They are paintings that I like. You know, one of those nice things about living in a big city is that sometimes you just like run into painters just like hanging out on the street selling their paintings, and sometimes they're good. I've got a pretty good one of a Peruvian kitchen. Made with gouache. It's pretty good. I've got a pretty bad colored pencil abstract art one that like I don't know, it's fine. But the reality is like you do like you it's very frustrating, right? Like we want to some extent like we kind of are the masters of our destiny. Me and Janken are focusing on this element of like the RNG because we're people who like to have control. Right, we're people who like to. It is comforting to us to think that there's an effort in, reward out schedule. Right, that like if you put in the work, you'll be rewarded. That our work is not being wasted. That our time is not being wasted. I think both of us probably look at games with lots of RNG in them, and we find them less appealing.
Unless I convince myself that I can control the odds.
Well, I mean, I think
Balattra's doing that.
I think Balattra is an amazing, cool game, but also, I kind of find the fact that in Balattra, like you're really reliant on like what the deck tells you you're gonna get. That I'm just like that makes me care less about it. It makes me less interested. I would rather play a game that's more deterministic. I would rather be playing Factorio or Rabbit and Steel a lot of the time. And the stretch. But the that's kind of where. So like we feel this need to kind of exert control over other parts of our lives. But there's kind of a flip side to this, right? Pressing A makes it more likely you catch the Pokemon. That's
I did that.
There is, yeah, I tested it out too. I tried it myself. But there is this this kind of flip side to it, right? Where like I forgot where I was going with this. Well, a lot of people do like the specter of the gamble. I will say that. A lot of people do get a lot out. They find that very emotionally satisfying. And me and Janken are more on the other side, where like we don't like that.
I wish I was more random. Part of
I don't know about that. I will say I think that we are blessed here because we are living in an era of gambling addiction, and gambling addiction is terrifying.
No, in that sense, I get it, but more like in, for example, today when I told you no topic, we roll, right? It's my little steps to kind of try slowly to embrace that, like, lol, random is also
spontaneity.
Valid. How do you call
that? Spontaneity.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're trying to work on your spontaneity. I mean, The thing is, like, that is a skill for us as VTubers, right? Like, that's I know some people like I know some of the more successful VTubers I know, they come from improv comedy.
Oh man, like I swear to God, like that's it's the skill.
I honestly like if I wasn't working so hard on studying kanji, I would be going to Upright Citizens.
Yeah, no, for sure,
like UCB. Because like they're not that far away.
Yeah.
I know VTubers who live nearby me who are going to UCB. We're taking improv classes, and so it's very important, and it involves a certain amount of embracing spontaneity. And for me, at least, the way this kind of works out is that I kind of feel like I have to do I kind of have to compartmentalize, I guess, a little bit. I have to take that need for control. I have to take that need for control I have in my life and channel it into areas where the control makes sense.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. For example, like when I built an event, right? When I build an event, like I need to control it because I need to, like, this is how it go. Like, okay, something may happen during the event and that's okay. But like to be able like to make something like more complex and more like that requires control, like this is what I want to use my skill for, and not just applying that to everything. Like the rest doesn't have to be as controlled. It's okay to just like I'm gonna have like whatever a moment during my stream where I just talk about whatever, and I don't think about like, oh, should I talk about that, or do you just do, just do. Yeah,
and it's I mean, part of this is also like my lengthy experience in life has been that the best stuff tends to come to me kind of randomly.
I do think so. I do think so. It's like being in your own head, and we talked a little about it, and just being like, what is the next thing? What is it? And then the more like you're kind of like focusing on that, like you're not even like seeing it because you're just like kind of trying to hyper focus on an answer when the answer is just out there and you don't know, like sometimes it just happens.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, no, here's what I was going to go for. I forgot. It came back to me. The horrible nightmare about all this, though, is that like you also don't get anything if you don't just like really put in the work sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like not... you simultaneously need to live with the fact like a lot of your work isn't going to pay off, but also you will get nothing if you don't put in the work at all.
Yeah.
Like if you just go around just grabbing every random lottery ticket with a minimal amount of investment, you're not going to get anything, right? You're not going to get anything. Nothing is going to happen. You're going to live this empty, boring life where you are not living your life. You are just an observer of random chaos happening around you. You may as well just pick up a kaleidoscope and spin it for your whole life. Like it's not very rewarding, and you're probably not going to get good results. But like, arguably the best thing I got out of graduate school was I picked up calligraphy. And I picked up calligraphy because I was taking a lot of notes. And I was just like, I want to make my notes look slightly prettier because I'm already taking a ton of notes. And like, now that's arguably my most important skill. Like, what kind of justice is this, right? What kind of plan was this? Like,
yeah. No, I totally get it. Like, and when you did say, like, at the end, you're just thinking, like, what's the fairness in all this?
Yeah.
Like, it make it make sense.
yeah, and I mean to to say the thing that makes everybody mad on the internet and will probably make Miss Janken kind of happy. Like, a lot of my life has been defined by the fact that I was born a white, able-bodied American man. Like I've gotten a lot of advantages handed to me by an accident of birth that I had very little control over. And even then, other things, this is part of the reason why I'm actually kind of touchy about people talking about me being, quote, intelligent, is I don't feel like that's something I did. I don't feel like that's me. That's just like, socially I seem intelligent, and even if I am actually intelligent, that's just an accident of birth. Like it's like, what credit do I deserve for that? I think I deserve more credit for being kind and for being patient. Things that I've actively worked on and like that I think actually help people.
I think the best way to wrap it up today. Yeah. That is true. Whatever we said about effort and everything and all that things, I think in the end, and to wrap up also the first topic, is really the best we can do for ourselves and others.
Yeah.
In the end, it's just like learn to be kind to yourself, and learn to be kind to others, and the rest is you'll see. We don't know where we're all going, right? So if there's anything we can do, is at least like
it's I mean, and we've had this discussion a lot about FOMO, right? And like fear of missing out, this anxiety over like, are we doing enough? My stance, and this is advice to Chad as well as to Janken here. All that really matters is that you behave with integrity and honor, such that you can face yourself in the mirror. Like don't get yourself too caught up in like winning or like being the best at things. Were you kind? Did you do what you could to make other people's lives better?
Yeah.
What else matters?
Exactly. Wow. So deep. All right. You know what? I'm starting like having a draft of perfume. Do you know why? Like we're kind of going on a little outing after.
Okay. So Miss Janken's favorite TV show is interfering with Miss Janken's favorite date night. So yes, we'll. That sounds like a good time to call it.
We're having some American pizza.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had a lot of Japanese pizza, but it's not like a lot of people are like.
I hate Japanese pizza.
I hate Japanese. Americans especially hate Japanese.
Oh
pizza.
My god, like a top 10 worst food experience for me, and I've had so many bad food experiences. I part of this is I just hate mayonnaise. Like I very fundamentally hate mayonnaise. I despise mayonnaise. I know we've talked about this before,
you don't like the QP?
It's better than American mayonnaise, but I still hate it. I
don't know if we can collab after that.
No, I'm a mustard guy. I like my mustard.
I like mustard, but man,
I like mustards and spicy. No, I mean Janken. The thing that will truly offend you is that I like ketchup with my fries.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, okay. Most French speakers I know.
Oh no, that's super fine. Oh, no problem. But I like mayo so much that sometimes they send me mayo fun super chat.
Oh yeah, no, that ain't me.
That's why I don't even put.
There's even mayonnaise. There's even mayonnaise in my potato salad.
Oh, that's fine.
I do mustard based potato salad.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay,
I like potato salad with mustard.
Mr. Janken, if and we are ever in the same area,
yes,
I'll cook for you.
Oh, that would be sublime. I would definitely enjoy that. I've seen a lot of your cooking. It looks pretty yummy.
Yeah.
You are a much better cook than I will probably ever be too.
I mean, the part is that I like it. Like I love doing it. So like it's easy for me to be experimental and to try new things and to get better at it because I love what I'm doing. Fun fact, that's how you get better at things, is to focus on things that you love doing.
Yes, that is true. Man, doing things you don't want to do, like, and trying to say, oh, but it's like because I need it, because I need to study. It's just like a recipe for a bad time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
But I'll let you know how was the American pizza. And yeah,
I'd appreciate that. I live in New York. People fight about pizza all the time.
I know.
And I'm from Chicago. The most contentious relationship, the Chicago-New York relationship over pizza. So many pizza fights. And I'm vegan, so how much do I give a shit? But anyway, enjoy the pizza. Enjoy the date night.
I mean,
it was lovely being here.
To be honest, it's probably not that hard to make a vegan pizza, no?
No, it's not. It's not. But there's a very good vegan pizzeria near me.
Nice.
So Screamers, it's very good. Thank you for having me on.
Of course.
I am planning my anniversary of streaming is coming up.
Me 20th. Too, actually. When is yours again?
Yeah, May 20th.
Wait, oh yeah, I think I forgot that fact that we're like a week apart.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm May 27th.
Yeah, me and Ronan are like right on top of each other. Ronan's like May 14th, I think. And it'll be my 2-year anniversary. I am planning a subathon for it. I will be. I love doing I like doing subathons.
Wait, 2 years?
2 years. 2 years.
How?
Yep. What do you mean how?
But I'm celebrating my 2 years like in May, and you clearly debuted after me, like much.
No,
later
no,
after
I
me.
didn't have. I didn't start. No, this is my streamer start. This is not my model debut start. This is this is my I did any streaming at all.
Okay,
I was not streaming on.
Okay.
I started streaming before I figured out my brand and style and everything.
I see. Okay. It's not Almontas as we know now.
Yeah. It's the deeper soul of all monsters. the pre-incarnation.
Oh yeah, that for me is like 5-6 years ago, but it's not celebrated anymore.
All right, fair enough. It's far enough from my affiliate anniversary. That makes sense. Anyway, I just want to get
20th.
20th, yeah.
And
I'll be doing a subathon basically until I go to Offkai.
Cool.
Is the plan.
Cool. I haven't announced what I'm gonna do, and I'm not gonna announce it, but it's gonna happen.
All right.
But
all right.
I hope that you have a good time for that, and let's talk it out again probably next month. Well, depend, because I just said exactly next month. It's literally with the 27th here in Japan. It's going to be the anniversary, but we can check it out. We can definitely see our schedules when that happens. Yeah. All right. Thanks again, Al, for coming, and thank you everybody for listening. And we shall see you soon. See you very soon. Take care, everybody, and let's leave with the good old Otsu, everybody.
Otsu, old man.
Otsu, old man. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.